What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So a deal has been made between a group of bipartisan senators and the White House, at least according to aides, on this roughly $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. This is actually great news for all Americans, as this actually sets us up for additional social infrastructure and stimulus. So this is really good, and I'm gonna break this down in just a minute. First, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video, continuing to support the channel, and always hitting that like button. It really does help out. So again, thank you guys for watching, and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package, and infrastructure update and daily news report for Thursday, June 24th. Remember, I said today, again, this is what I said a couple days ago. Today, the Senate is going to be going on their recess for the next 2.5 weeks. The Senate will be away from Washington from today, or the afternoon of today, until July 12th. That is big. So reports are indicating that a deal had to be struck today. And that's essentially what happened later last night. Here's what we know. This framework that has been agreed upon, according to multiple White House aides and lawmakers themselves, they are now saying that this bill, this framework, has not been written down yet. They are waiting to actually present this in person to President Biden, and once he agrees on this in person, then they will start their work. This group has simply put the framework together and is now planning to pitch it to Biden today. One thing that we do know is once he signs off on this framework, then the real work is actually going to begin. This is when lawmakers will have to start writing the bill, and this is what, according to reports, is going to happen over the next couple of weeks. What some are saying right now, some experts are saying that this framework must be agreed upon today, because if the Senate leaves, it would actually slow down progress. Some say that even if it's not agreed upon today, though, that the Senate, the bipartisan group of senators would actually stay a few days longer in order to get this deal done. However, if there are then talks, or it's looking somewhat skeptical that they are going to get a deal done, the lawmakers would then just go back to their districts. So it's not great news yet. However, some are saying that a deal has been made, and that's where things are starting to really pick up. We are seeing some progress. So the good news today is that while Congress is away for the next couple of weeks, we will potentially see the details of this bill come out. We will see more of the verbiage, the framework. It will be flushed out a little bit, which would then allow us to really see what is in this for the American people. Now, I want to explain why this deal is so important, not just for obviously the main infrastructure, roads, bridges, railways, broadband, things like that. Obviously, that's important. However, according to most reports, the American people want to see social infrastructure more. They want to see this more because this is going to provide them with their ability to get back to work, get back on their feet, and provide for themselves and their family. So, according to the multiple reports that we've been reading just this morning, some are saying that the social infrastructure aspect of the Build Back Better plan is actually going to be coming out a little bit bigger if we see a bipartisan bill done first. So yes, experts believe that if a bipartisan bill is passed first, then and only then will we see a larger Build Back Better plan for the social infrastructure or stimulus aspect of this bill. So that is good news there. Now, without a bipartisan bill agreed on first, Senator Joe Manchin, he stated that he wasn't wanting to vote for another budget reconciliation. He wanted to see a bipartisan bill done first, or at least attempt to get a bipartisan bill done. We also know that many Democrats didn't want to vote on a roughly $4 trillion infrastructure bill. They said that they know if they were to vote on a partisan bill of $4 trillion, and again, Bernie Sanders is working with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to try to get a $6 trillion infrastructure package deal done through a bipartisan effort. However, Democrats are saying that they know if they were to pass a partisan bill of roughly $4 trillion, Republicans will use this as ammunition in their re-election campaigns coming up. And this is essentially true. This is exactly what's going to happen. I know this is going to happen. This is exactly what Republicans would do. This is what Democrats would do. This is just the way politics are done. So, reports indicate that the only way to get past these hurdles is to get a bipartisan deal done first and then work on a budget reconciliation, which is exactly what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is trying to do at this point. That's one of the reasons why he's working along with Bernie Sanders. Now, in addition to that, progressives are still worried that this framework will not be enough. They don't want their priorities watered down. They don't want to see little to no legislation for climate change. And according to Jeff Stein, he is saying that there is some policies, there is some money for climate change. He's reporting that there's going to be a minimum of $79 billion, but this is going to go for the electric grid and clean energy. Okay, and some are saying that this won't be enough. Now, what we know at this point is progressives also want to see additional aid, additional funding for Medicare. They want to see Medicare forever change for the better. They want to make sure there's things like vision, dental, and hearing included as well. They want to also bring down the age from 65 down to 60. They would like to ensure that the people that are being hardest hit at this time are being taken care of with stimulus and survival checks. They know that the child tax credits, the payments are coming out in the next few weeks, and many expect this is only going to cause more inflation, which is going to hurt those that don't receive a child tax credit payment. So, this is where many lawmakers are saying, if we don't step up now, the American people that don't receive these payments are going to struggle. Now, in a poll from Fox News, and I want to bring up Fox News for a reason, 83% of people that were polled are worried about inflation and say that the benefits that we are receiving right now are hurting the economy. Now, the reason I mentioned Fox News as the source is they are very Republican-sided, okay? But I still think this data is accurate because at this time, we know, okay, benefits usually do translate to higher inflation, especially if we see this mass amount of benefits that are being sent out to the American people. However, experts do say, and this is something that we have heard a similar sentiment from the Federal Reserve and Treasury, is that even though we are going to see inflation, it is better to see a little bit of inflation now than to suffer through a down economy for years. This is one of the reasons why Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell have been pushing for a little while, have been pushing the Biden administration to provide more assistance to the American people. So we'll see what happens, but as of right now, the big talks are on raising our debt ceiling. And this is something that Janet Yellen was actually talking about just the other day. The problem is many Republicans are not going to go, or pretty much every single Republican will not go for this, and it's very unlikely that this will see an increase. So, getting back to the bipartisan group's infrastructure package, here's what we know. One thing that some experts worry about is how many conservative Republicans will get on board or will object to the IRS receiving additional funding to go after tax cheats. Remember, Janet Yellen wanted about $40 billion to go to the IRS. The IRS has been calling for additional money for years. President Biden, he wants to see about $80 billion go to the IRS to go after tax cheats, because they both say that if they provide additional funding to the IRS to go and hire more agents, they could actually bring in roughly $110 billion per year. So, some are saying that this is one of the ways this bill will be funded. The problem is, will conservative Republicans go for this? Some say they don't think it's going to happen. One lobbyist doubts that there will be enough Republican support on this provision and that they would reject the entire bill. And another one believes there will be a handful of Democrats that don't support other legislation that's within this infrastructure package framework, and this might have to be reworked once again. Again, Jeff Stein, he's been reporting on this for a while. He's from the Washington Post. He's saying that the $79 billion for clean energy and the electric grid, that might not be enough, and that might actually get many progressives to vote against the bill as well. And I've been saying this for a few weeks as well, is that my guess is we are going to see a little bit of a back and forth. We're going to have to, even though we have a deal on the framework, okay, that's where the deal's made. Even though there's a deal on the framework, it doesn't mean there's a deal in total. What it just means is we are most likely going to have to get to the negotiation table and see where exactly certain lawmakers need some legislation. Because if they don't receive it, they might not vote in support of the bill. And if not as many people are in support of the bill is essentially dead, both in the House and the Senate. Now, a good amount of the money, okay, and I want to bring this up because I know a lot of people are asking. A lot of people have been saying, hey, we have all this money left over from the canceled unemployment benefits. Why doesn't Congress, why don't they just put an additional stimulus check into the bill? Here's what we know. Right now, there's about $600 billion in unused money that Congress is planning on using. And they're planning on using this money for half of the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. About $559 billion is going to be new money. The other $600 billion, or roughly $600 billion, is going to come a lot from the canceled unemployment benefits. So this, according to reports, is one of the reasons why many Republicans decided to jump on board, because then they now have additional funding to go towards infrastructure. The infrastructure will hopefully bring back more jobs, and then it will essentially do the exact same thing. But again, that's just according to reports. We don't know. That's just what we're being told at this time. Again, I'm no expert on this. I just read the articles. Okay, I listen to the interviews. I read all the tweets. Okay, I listen to what lawmakers are saying and what Congress and the White House is doing. And from all that, okay, I try to give you guys a quick, accurate breakdown of the daily update. And that's exactly what I do. So here's something else that we learned today. Jobless claims for this past week, or last week, ending June 19th, I believe, they came out this morning. They came in at 411,000 new jobless claims. It was expected to be at 380,000. So some are actually worried that these numbers are only increasing. However, some say they're increasing ever so slightly, that it shouldn't matter too much. So don't look into the numbers, just understand even though they're increasing, we are still seeing it's more stable, and hopefully they will start dropping down very soon. Now, as I mentioned before, there's a huge shift in workers, a huge shift. There's a huge shift in qualified workers, people with higher education, new people coming into the workforce. A lot of these things are now being reintroduced or introduced into the workforce, and that is causing many issues. And this, according to experts, say that this is going to be the forever change to the landscape of jobs. So we will see what happens here. Now, regarding stimulus checks, I want to touch on this really quick before I get into some other news regarding COVID and regarding what Democrats are planning on doing. One thing I want to address regarding the stimulus checks is, again, when you hear stimulus checks or survival checks, they're exactly the same thing. Okay, a lot of people are wondering, oh, we're going to get a fourth stimulus check and a survival check? No. There's a difference between a stimulus check and a survival check. A stimulus check is going to go towards stimulating the economy, but many Democrats believe that we don't need that. All Republicans believe that the economy is doing just fine. We don't need a stimulus check. So what do Democrats plan on doing about that? Well, let's not push a stimulus check. Let's get rid of the talks on a stimulus check, and let's pass a survival check, because the American people need more help. And how do we provide more help? We give them more money, put it in their bank account, and they can go and buy more things. They can go and pay for their rent, their car payments, their debts. They can put a little bit in savings if they have to, and then maybe, just maybe, okay, they can go and help stimulate the economy. So again, it's the exact same thing. Now, regarding the talks on a $2,000 per month stimulus check, honestly, I don't see this happening at this point. And I've said this over the past few months, is unless we see the economy just go into the downward spiral. Okay, unless we see these different COVID variants like the Delta variant come back full force and the vaccines just work, they just don't work at all, right? They're just complete garbage. If those two things happen, if people start to lose their jobs again, if the economy starts to close down again, then I could see a push for monthly stimulus checks, okay, monthly survival checks. But until those things happen, I don't see it actually going through. Okay, again, this is not just me. This is coming from many experts who have, more years of experience in Congress and politics and the economy than I have even being alive. Okay, I'm only 33 years old. Right, so there's people that have been in this industry, been talking about this stuff, have been educated on this, right? Went to school, did all this stuff, have 30 some years of experience in the field, that have way more experience than I do, even being alive. These are the people that I'm looking at. These are the people that I'm going to for advice. These are the people that I'm reading into their articles and their interviews and their different studies. All right, so just keep that in mind. This is not just I'm pulling this out of thin air and be like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get it. This is from actual experts in this field. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here. However, I want to be honest, and I want you guys to really understand what is being talked about at this time. I know a lot of people here on YouTube, and again, sorry about some of the where I talk about or show something in like the title or the thumbnail, and it's a little bit of a clickbait. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Don't mean to do that every time. But in the video, again, I'm not lying to you guys saying, oh, hey, this is what's happening. We're gonna see a $2,000 monthly stimulus check. It's coming tomorrow. That's not what I'm doing, okay? I don't wanna lie to you like that. I know a lot of people are. A lot of people are doing that. That's not what I do here. Okay, just wanna give you the updates. Now, speaking of another update, here's something else we're hearing, and this is other big news that's coming out more recently. Many Democrats are beginning to worry about taking a recess in August. They're going to take a recess next week, okay? They're going to be on recess. But what we know is that many Democrats are worried about taking a recess in August because they still have a lot of work to do. Democrats are actually getting many calls from their constituents telling them to continue working as their job is not done. Many lawmakers are saying that they are wanting to do exactly that, and some are saying that the reason why is because the American people are being asked to go back to work. And Democrats, okay, pretty much all lawmakers are pushing for this, yet they get to take a month off from potentially doing their job. Now, not everyone is just going to take a month off and go on vacation, go to the Bahamas. It's not going to happen. But they say the optics behind this doesn't look good when they are pushing people to go back to work, but yet lawmakers go and take a month-long recess. So we'll see what happens here, but my guess is there will be a recess. Is it going to be a month long? Maybe not. It all depends on when the infrastructure package passes. If it doesn't pass by the beginning of the August recess, then yes, I expect Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to make sure that both houses stay in Washington until this is passed. So we will see, but as I know more there, I promise I'll fill you in on those details as well. Now, in other news, this is actually pretty big. The World Health Organization has stated that 2021 has been a deadlier year than 2020 combined due to COVID. They say that 2020, the death toll was around 1.8 million people, and in 2021 already, there's over 2 million people that have died so far this year, making this the deadliest year due to COVID. So, they say that this is due to the fact that COVID variants are actually hurting many countries that don't have mass vaccinations yet. Experts also say that the reason that some of the bigger countries are having success getting out of this pandemic is because they invested so much money into vaccines early on, and they are seeing the results from that. The world will be far behind, according to experts, unless other countries like the United States jump on board and provide more additional help. So that is what we're hearing right now. That is up to the United States and other, bigger countries to provide vaccines that are working. One of the reasons why experts say the United States is able to get back to normal is because we have done a great job, and this is coming from former President Donald Trump, investing early on, getting into the vaccines, putting a lot of money and a lot of resources into that, and on top of that, current President Biden, and pretty much picking up where former President Donald Trump left off in the Trump administration, picking up and just pushing it that much further. So they are saying it's not just one president, it was both presidents and their vision to see us through. So again, they say that is one of the reasons why we are so much better off today than many other countries. So that's what we know right now. As I know more regarding stimulus, infrastructure, COVID, the economy, and everything in between, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Consider subscribing so that I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.